Hey everybody, welcome to Out the Trunk with Jordan and Darius. My name is Jordan. You can find me on all socials at Jordy B Writing.
And I'm Darius. That's D's all up in your area on all socials.
And today we're going to be reviewing The Usual Suspects. This movie came out in 1995, starring Kevin Spacey, Gabriel Byrne, Stephen Baldwin, Benicio del Toro, and Kevin Pollak. The Usual Suspects follows a brutal boatyard massacre involving a small time con man is the sole survivor. Under interrogation, he recounts a complex tale of how he and four other criminals were forced to work for a legendary mythical crime lord. As the police try to piece together the truth, they must sift through his story, wondering who is real and who is a lie. So I'm gonna toss it to you for Act One.
Uh, One bit of oversight that's my fault. I did the beginning rundown. We cannot leave off the fact that Juan Carlo Esposito is in this movie, the legend.
Oh yes, yes, he is.
That's an oversight on my fault. I did not put him in the cast, but he is in the movie. Bit role, but we cannot not mention that he's there. So,
Correct.
Act One, the interrogation of Verbal Kent, a mysterious sole survivor of a brutal boatyard shootout. Roger Verbal Kent is interrogated by an FBI agent. The agent pressures Verbal to recount the events leading to the massacre, beginning with the five criminals meeting in a police lineup. Off the rip, that lip was weak as hell. Like,
It was the worst limp ever.
it's.
Now, granted,
You
he's
want to
supposed
tell
to have
the
cerebral
audience now?
palsy, so I don't. Yeah, yeah, we got you. So Kevin Spacey plays what's his name? Jack Kent, or
Yes.
sorry, Verbal Kent,
Verbal Kent.
um, who has cerebral palsy. So he has his left body is not fully functional, I guess. He's got a limp with his foot twists inward,
Yeah.
and then his left arm is kind of, it's almost like it's in an invisible sling. So you
He
can
has
kind of picture
severe
what that looks
mobility
like.
issues.
Yes.
You know, run with your imagination, run wild with that. So,
Yeah, I don't want to like do the things that look like I'm making fun of people.
yeah, we don't want to have the that to be clipped. So, yeah, we get
Right.
it. Yeah. So,
Yes. So yeah, so he has to do this limp to kind of uh come across as feeble and, non-suspecting. Yes, you want to go ahead and give the twist away, or yeah,
it turns out that he's actually the mastermind. He's Caesar Soze, who is this mythical
yes,
creature.
Kaiser Soze,
Kaiser
yeah,
Soze, he's this mythical person, and so that's kind of the gist of the whole movie.
yeah,
The rest is just a very boilerplate uh heist movie,
heist,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the gist of it. And so
yeah. So we had to give that away to be able to talk about the movie without sounding like we were having some sort of
without sounding like we hadn't watched it.
yeah.
So when did you first watch this? When was the first time that you saw this?
So the first time I saw it, I was in college. I was like maybe 20 or 21.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I finished it because I think I just at that time I didn't have the attention span for the way the story was unfolding,
Yeah.
to be honest.
You
So
have
I
a
didn't
lot in
actually
common
watch
with
it.
2025, Darius. Uh,
So,
it's
so I actually watched it in full for the first time, like a week or two ago. I watched it after we had talked about Seven, and I finally went back and finished it. But I'd already, I think I was watching, listen, I used to listen to Jalen Rose's old podcast a lot
yeah.
with
It's a very
Jacoby
known
Jones, Jacoby
twist,
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would use the name Kaiser Soze to
Yeah.
describe, that was his nickname for Kawhi Leonard. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's like, mysterious and, all that. So I was like, who the fuck is that? So I Googled it and I, ruined the movie for myself before I saw it. So, yeah, that's my first encounter with the movie.
Yeah. I don't actually remember when I first saw it. I know I've seen, I mean, it was on my hard drive, so I know I have
Yeah.
seen it before, but I don't like I knew the twist, but I didn't remember the actual movie.
Hmm.
And it's when you know the twist,
Yeah.
it's it doesn't do not a
It
lot
loses
happens.
its luster.
It loses its luster.
Yeah.
It is almost like a time capsule for 1995. It's like watching The
Correct.
Sixth Sense, where it's like
Once you know,
once you know, and also this could only work before the wide proliferation of information.
that's the problem.
Yeah, and it's just it feels like a relic. It feels like
Yeah.
when you it's like, oh, this PlayStation is backwards compatible. I'm gonna love playing old Siphon Filter, and then you actually turn on that 1997 game, and the
And you're like,
controls
this
are
game
dated,
sucks.
and the graphics are hard on the eyes, and nothing's
Yep.
intuitive, and it's just like this isn't quite how I remember it being
Yeah.
at the time.
You know what it reminds
Yeah,
me of? Remember when they put made it so you Crash Bandicoot you could play it on PS5?
yeah,
Well, they made it so you could play it on PS5. So I remember I would play it, whatever, and I was like, I just can't remember doing this much as a
yeah,
5-year-old and
yeah,
being like thinking this was fun. Um,
yeah.
it's comfortable and the graphics weren't great.
It's like
Granted, it was
playing
like
GoldenEye with
1995,
the one
but
joystick, and you're so used to two joysticks that like it doesn't work when you have one
yeah,
joystick. I remember
it's like
playing
playing an Atari.
Sub-Zero Mythologies. I got an emulator, and it was an N64 PlayStation 1 game, and
Mhm.
it basically it's like Mortal Kombat, but it's a storyline, and you're Sub-Zero, and you're going through a story. And I shit you not, you had to push a button to turn around. So if your character was facing this way, you had to pay L1 to
Oh
turn
yeah,
around.
yeah,
You couldn't just turn around. And
yeah.
that's just
Right.
impossible for my 2023 at the time brain could to process. I just couldn't I
Yeah,
fucking you I just that's kind of how I feel
it
about this
just makes it
movie.
not fun.
Like some 90s
It feels like a
movies
labor.
could come out tomorrow. This one could not. This was a labor of love for
Yeah.
our podcast listeners. Yeah. What else you got
Yes.
for Act One, man?
I think the problem. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the problem is because, like again, like you said, if the access we have information we have access to makes it hard. Like you can grow up and never have seen a movie, but know what the movie is or know how the movie ends
Yeah.
because people have talked about it so much, or you
Yeah.
see it on social media, or the memes, or the references, or like Seven is like what's in the box. So like
Yeah.
before I saw the movie, I knew what was in the box. I think this movie kind of is a lot like that. Um,
You know what I
and I
think it
will say like
is?
this movie is obviously big.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say it. So this movie is a big part of like the cultural lexicon, with
Yeah.
the Kaiser Soze, and I feel like a lot of thrillers have tried to emulate this movie in certain aspects, especially like we've seen the lineup scene done a million times over in different movies in different contexts. We saw it in Set It Off. We saw they did a spoof of this in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know if you ever saw that scene or
I
not.
don't know.
Where they do a lineup scene and it's Andy, what's his name? Andy Samberg, I want to say his name.
Sure.
Anyway,
I don't know.
one of the guys from SNL who blew up. And so he's like pressing the intercom button to talk to the guys in the room in the lineup. And he's like, "All right, um, suspect number one, say tell me why." And then he's like, "Suspect number two, ain't nothing but a heartache." And then now suspect number three, and basically it comes out to they're singing the harmony for like Backstreet Boys or
I want
whatever,
it that way.
or NSYNC, whichever one.
It was Backstreet. I want it that way.
Yeah, I
You
want
know
it
the
that way.
damn
Yeah,
song. You ain't
yeah,
that
Backstreet
cool.
Boys. That's right.
Like,
No, I know this.
what is that?
No, I
White
love
people make
Backstreet Boys.
music.
I
I
just
don't
couldn't
listen to
remember
white
which.
people
I
music.
couldn't.
I'm blackity black,
No,
black, black. I have a dashiki on right now. Oh
no,
man,
I
I
just
ain't
I
never heard
couldn't.
no white music. No goddamn well the Backstreet Boys know I want it that way.
I drink my coffee black.
Yeah.
Nah, I thought I just had I had the bands mixed up. And at the end of the scene where they do the harmony together, um, there's a lady who is looking for the suspect, and she's like, "It's number five." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he's like, "So number five killed your husband?" Like it was, making fun of the usual suspects meet lineup scene or whatever. So that scene is pretty notorious, but yeah, this movie did not age great. Like
You know what it feels like?
I
It
think this
feels
it's very
like
dated.
they had their ending and then they made a movie later. And it was just
mm,
and so that's why something like Seven, even though you know the ending holds up, because they made a good movie.
yeah,
And I just feel like
correct.
this one, and it works because it's 1995, and one Kevin Spacey's is just a monster.
Right.
Like he's a really great actor, so he's captivating
Yeah,
in and of itself. And
correct.
the ending makes you forget that the story just doesn't, it's
That the
just flat.
movie didn't really make a whole lot of sense
Doesn't. And
in
he's
certain
like,
respects.
yeah, and like the big twist is like he was reading names off the wall. Like,
Yeah,
and it's like, so he planned all of this, but didn't have a story locked in until he got there where he's, oh, and he's just picking numbers
right.
off the wall. Like, that doesn't really, two plus two doesn't go to four for me on that one.
Does not equal four.
You know,
Yeah.
we could break this down into acts, but everything I have to say is just kind of a meta conversation about the movie. So, do you have anything else for Act One?
Yeah, fuck it. We just talk about the movie. Yeah.
Well, we
Um.
should read the acts to the people. You have anything else
Oh
for Act
yeah.
One?
Yeah. So for Act One, I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Okay. Yeah. So first of all, so he's just bullshitting in the room because he's just reading names off the board and coming up with stories and shit about the quartet and all that. But there's a line where he says, "I used to pick coffee beans in Guatemala. How the fuck were you picking coffee beans in Guatemala when you have one good arm and leg? Like, and
Yeah,
the cops believe that?
right. And
How is he gonna hold the
cerebral
bag of beans?
palsy is a genetic like thing you're born with. It's not like it's like Parkinson's disease
Yes.
that you develop in
You
an
don't
old
develop
age.
it.
Right.
Right.
So none of that makes any sense. Granted, I don't expect a beat. Well, that was an FBI agent. This isn't a beat cop. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't age well.
It did not.
This is not
Also, my thing is,
anti-90s bias because we reviewed 5 or 6 90s
we
movies with
love the
great,
90s.
yeah, like seven the other week. We done good.
Yeah.
Our first movie was Goodfellas. Like this, just some stuff
Yeah.
just doesn't pass the modernization test, you know?
True. Even like where he has immunity. To me, anybody who has immunity, I'm gonna assume you're guilty because what the fuck did you do and see that they
Yeah.
gave you that deal?
Who would give you
Um,
immunity? You're the only survivor. Who you snitching on? Like what? Why are you getting immunity?
right.
There's no one else to arrest. Why would I give you? It doesn't like that's poor. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Also, the fact that he was alive to me was a red flag. Because so you have one arm and one leg that you can actually like, you know, have full mobility with, and these able-bodied guys who had guns and skill sets beyond you physically, they died. It
Right.
just didn't make any sense.
Also, furthermore, unless it's from the president, a full pardon, you can't just get immunity for one thing and then say, "Oh, I did a bunch of murders," and they go, "Damn."
Yeah.
No, like immunity is for very
Right.
specific things, and if you do more
Oh, we almost
crimes,
had him.
you do more crimes, you that doesn't cover unless it's like a pardon from the president. That's not how that goes.
Correct.
Act two, the con is on. The crew, having met and found common ground, is recruited for a job by the legendary unseen crime lord Kesar Soze. They travel to Los Angeles and carry out a series of escalating heists, all seemingly as a favor to their new boss. Why would you recruit a cripple to go on these murderous heists? Like what?
Sprees.
The only if you're a good detective, you see this person in front of
Mhm.
you and you go, he has to be the mastermind because what other
What else could he do?
traits could he bring? He's physically incapable of doing the job at a proficient
Right.
level. So he has to be the mastermind.
Correct.
Um, you know what? So
McMahon
last
has
year,
literally called him the man with the plan.
correct. And so last year, Regal did a quick run of it was like Regal flashbacks, and they did
Hmm.
movies. You know, that's where I saw Seven for the first time, actually. And one of the weeks was The Matrix. And I went and saw The
Yeah.
Matrix, and I was like, I understand why this mattered from a technical standpoint, like the graphics, the
Correct.
CGI. But
Hmm.
for my modern eyes, I don't appreciate the CGI the same way.
Hmm.
And so the rest of the movie, like once the novelty is gone, the rest of the movie
It
is
falls
just a
flat.
movie. And that's kind of how I feel about this. Once the novelty of the twist is gone and it's just a movie before
Hmm.
me, I just didn't, honestly, I didn't like it. Like I did
Yeah.
not. I mean, it was a fine movie, but the reverence with which people speak of it is almost entirely tied to the twist, which is a great
Correct.
twist. I can appreciate how that in theater in 1995, when he starts
Would have went
walking
crazy.
and his gait becomes normal and he gets in with his
Hmm.
lawyer, I can appreciate how that would make you forget that the previous 90 minutes were kind of nonsense. Uh,
Yes. Um,
uh, you
so
know,
okay, so let me ask you this then. So, uh, as we both love thrillers and movies with big twists, do you feel like it's I'm sure how to word this. Do you feel like if the twist overpowers the movie that's a bad thing?
no, because we did Gone Girl last week, and that twist
Hmm.
it was a huge twist. I remember had no idea that was happening, and the movie
Yeah,
still holds up. It's
right.
still a good movie because they made a good movie with a good twist in it. This,
Correct.
as I said earlier, feels like they had an idea for a twist and then worked their way
Hmm.
backwards to get there.
Yeah.
And they almost just didn't even care if the movie was good or even made any sense. And it made because you had to think how original this was, right?
Right.
And so you just have this original ending that's just gonna blow the world away. And you just, mailed in the rest of it, which made sense because it worked. I mean, this is
Yeah.
one of the highest rated movies of all time. But if you just watching it for with fresh eyes, knowing the twist, I'm just like, I
Hmm.
don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say it makes me think of like to me the mark of a great thriller is if when you get to the end credits, you want to go back and start the movie over immediately.
Yeah.
Like it makes you want to go back and see, okay, what did I miss? Or just watch it again with the appreciation of having the twist without it being without the luster being removed. Like it makes you think of like the album Damn, where
Yeah.
if you start this, the thing where if you start the album listening to the last song, the track Duckworth, the album it's playing in reverse. It's a completely different story. It reminds me a lot like that. Like I think of there's ways to do a really good twist where it doesn't overpower the story, but
Yeah.
it can still be an additive at the same time. Like I think of Batman Begins with Ra's al Ghul, where remember he's at his birthday party and the lady's
Yeah.
like, introduce I want to introduce this man. He said he knows you or something like that. And it was a random guy, and then he realized Liam Neeson was Ra's al Ghul the whole time, and he was using the other guy as a proxy.
Right.
I feel like that was one that was done really well. Like even like the Prestige, like there's the twist that they're spoiler alert, he has a twin, but the movie is still incredible watching it even though you know the twist is coming.
Correct. I don't mind a twist even overpowering it as long as the foundation for a good movie is there. I mean, we went
Right.
through this with Memento,
Yeah.
where
That's what I
it's
thought of
just
too.
like once you know it, what's left? It's just an incoherent movie that
Right.
is just incredibly hard to follow and just doesn't hold up once you know how it ends, or once you
Right.
know what it's working towards. And so, you know, I have here this question. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it. Is the movie good or is the twist good? And to me, it's a good twist, but like there's not a good movie here.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I tried. Like I was trying to be in good faith and I didn't want to be grumpy about it, but I just,
Yeah.
I there's four other people in the lineup. There's no reason for them to be there, really. They're just fa nameless, faceless goons.
Basically, yeah.
And there's one character in the movie. You know,
Literally. And
It's one
yeah,
character in the
one
movie,
character and he's the narrator and he's also the villain. And he's
and
an
it's
unreliable narrator because he's lying about everything.
and it's just you have a movie with one character who's talking to a nameless, faceless detective who has a bunch of
Right.
nameless, faceless henchmen, and I
Hmm.
don't leave the movie not really knowing anything about the character.
Yeah.
So what do we have here? A twist. That's it.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
know?
Even if I think it would have been well, there's several things I would have done differently about this movie, but so I think one, there was too many scenes of the interrogation room. Like there
Yeah,
were cool scenes, whatever, but they let that was literally half of the screen time of the movie.
yeah,
Two, you don't really get the origin story of the actual Kaiser Soze.
yeah.
Like so we don't know how this normal guy came to think he needed some sort of criminal identity
Right.
proxy, whatever, to do these deeds, and also like even like where the his lawyer hands the guys a suitcase to blackmail them to get to do the next heist. How did he get all that information? Who did he have photographing all these guys? Why these guys in particular? What was the
And why are
connection
they
there?
listening to
Was he
him?
just
What's like, is he literally a mythical figure? Like, why are these people
right?
so afraid of him? He's not physically intimidating. They got guns too. Like,
No one knows who this guy is.
it just, why are they listening to him? Yeah, it's just, I leave the movie going, there was one character and I know nothing about that character.
Hmm. Yes, and that's the problem.
Like, what's like,
That's the problem.
I tried. I really did, but I don't.
Yeah,
It's an hour and
even
45
like
minutes, and it's the most claustrophobic movie I've ever seen. Um,
yes,
th-
you're in two rooms the whole time. It feels like.
right, and you learn nothing about anybody, and it ends.
Nope.
You finally get some fresh air at the end when he walks out, and then it's just over. The closing line's amazing. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled
Hmm.
was making people think he wasn't real. Okay, that's great. It's like they
Hmm.
had that and it was spectacular, and I can put it in the context of 1995, and I can say how I understand how everyone
Hmm.
would leave that movie with their blades completely blown away. But looking at it now,
Yes.
there's no underlying good movie here. I just don't, I just can't say that. I'm sorry. People listen to this to get our honest opinions, and my honest opinion is this is a really bad movie. Uh,
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and honestly, yeah, it gets worse once you actually learn the twist, to be honest, because then you go, like, I watched it twice, damn near back to back, and it
God
was just
bless
like,
you.
okay, well, I had more questions, which in theory was the point to have more questions, but
Yeah,
it
it's
just
like
felt
when
like
you
the
go back and
questions
watch it,
weren't pertinent to
dude.
pertinent to the story.
Yeah, like it's when you go back and watch it, is there, when you go back and watch The Sixth Sense, even you can see where he was a
Hmm.
ghost. Like you can see the things where no one else is talking to
Right,
him, but the kid things you don't notice your first one through. There's none of
right,
that here. I didn't go back and watch it, but
right.
I imagine that it's
Like
just the twist just comes
even
out of nowhere. It's
like
not built up
like
to
fight.
anything.
Correct. Yeah, it's like Fight Club, like they never Tyler says don't ever mention my name to Marla, the girl in the movie, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Or don't talk about me to anyone else, or
correct.
shit like that. Like, okay, you watch it back and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, whatever. Or why does it always seem like people are ignoring Tyler when they're both in the room together because
Right.
he's not real. This movie, it was just like, and also like they tried to be subtle, but once you learn the twist, you go back and you're like, it actually is
It's
really,
it's
really
really,
obvious.
really, yeah.
Because every time they mention Kazuso's name, every time they mention his name, they cut to Kevin Spacey's face.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's not great filmmaking. And especially like when they're on the boat,
Yeah, there
it's
were the
just
skeletons of a really great movie.
go
Just
ahead.
shooting niggas. Like,
Yeah, he's on the boat,
yeah, when they're on a
and
boat, they're just shooting. Like,
it's just so obvious it's him on the boat. They don't do a good job of hiding the body type,
mhm.
and it's a dumb movie. You want to go to Act Three?
That too. Yeah.
All right, Act Three. You have a bit of delay. We got to power through. Act Three, the soze of it all. As the body count
Okay.
rises and the lies unravel, the FBI agent becomes increasingly frustrated with Verbal's shifting story. The agent desperately tries to connect the dots and uncover the identity of Kaiser Soze. I've mispronounced it 5 different ways, leading to the shocking final moments. The shocking final moment is we find out, as I told you earlier, that he is the mastermind of this. So
Hmm.
what was your reaction to the ending? You know, I don't have any questions. That's the only thing I had. It's
Well,
just,
the problem is because this movie is so popular. I knew the ending before I saw the movie,
yeah,
so I wasn't shocked. But I was, it was the reveal of the slow gate
yeah,
chain, fixing itself basically into a normal walking style. I thought that was a really cool shot. Um, I will say I did like that when he played the role of Verbal. He did everything with his right side. That was his good side. But Kaiser Soze was left-handed. Like if you notice, like the first scene where he shoots the guy and he lights the cigarette, and then even at the end of the movie when he lights the cigarette, he does everything with his left hand. So I thought that was a cool detail. Um, I will say I did the another part of the twist I did like though was that the lawyer was in on it with him because he
yeah,
did have to have a partner. He could have done
yeah.
everything by himself. Um, and it made me think like it almost made me wonder if the first scene where they're all in the cell together, if that was a test where it was like, let me get in here myself with these guys and figure out who can I play, who's going to be a good patsy for me, that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean,
I admire your
that was my only
desire to
reaction
try
to
to
it.
make this make sense. But I don't think any of it makes sense, man. I just think they had a twist and they
Yeah,
worked backwards from there, and they
I
didn't
think
dot
that is
their
true.
I's and cross
That's
their
the problem.
T's, and it's not very tight.
Yeah.
A lot of things don't add up, like you said. Like I said earlier, he masterminded this whole thing, but he didn't even have a story to tell. He's reading off random things off the board. Also, like the
Hmm.
detective, all of a sudden he's been worked and played for hours on end, but all of a sudden he's like, figures it all out in a minute, and it just,
Hmm. Well, that was
yeah,
the
I don't
thing
really
too.
have
The
anything nice
detective
to say.
overplayed his hand.
Yeah, I don't really. And he drops his coffee and he's like, "Oh ha!" It's just the most corniest movie aha moment, and he just
Right.
instantly puts it all together. It's just I hate movies where like the only way the plot makes sense is if the character's a
Everybody's
moron.
stupid.
And
Yeah,
yeah, it's just everyone's stupid. Another famous Kevin Spacey, it's not a movie, but it's a TV show, House of Cards. Like the only
yeah.
way those plots work is if everyone's literally an
Everyone's
idiot except
stupid.
for Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
And also not only an idiot, but like they don't talk to each other without him around because if they ever did,
correct.
they'd be like, that doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
So no, I mean, look, I don't really have much to add to this. It's just people should watch it because you should be informed about culture and the 90s and the
Yeah,
things that make it's a film. You cannot be a film critic without having seen this movie. But if you're
correct.
asking me if it's worth an hour and 45 minutes of your time, probably not. It's just not a good
Yeah,
movie.
like
It's
it's
not.
one of the things where it's like everything was great but the script.
All
A lot
right.
like Materialists.
Yeah, well, oh
You
man.
know, like the acting was really good. Everybody did their thing. It just was the characters were like NPCs. They were just these like tropes. You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean? It
way to
was
put
like
it. Yeah.
it was just like, you got the witty mechanic guy who's gonna do the explosive. Then you got the asshole with the leather jacket. Then you
Yeah.
got the guy with the crazy suits and the weird accent. And then you got the the actual smart guy who made sense to be the patsy because who else could have pulled this off if you thought the Kaiser so if you thought the what's his name again? Verbal, if you thought Verbal
Yeah.
was too stupid to do it. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense. But if they had I feel like if they had built the characters up more, the movie would have been one much better. Um and two, just like yeah, it was like they revealed the twist and then they just in the movie and it's like, okay, well, what did he do next? He didn't if the boat was just a hit, right? Because they said it wasn't really $91 million in coke on the boat. It was just a hit. Okay, so you didn't get richer. You killed all your enemies or whatever. What do you do next?
You
Like,
well, Kazar is a superhero though, so he just teleports to the next board. That's
right.
what it felt. It felt like a video game where you're the main character and like everyone else is just stupid. Like like
Hmm.
it's just like,
Yeah.
and you can manipulate these things, and if you fuck up, you can hit continue and try it again, and so yeah, I feel like we don't really have anything else to add to this. Do you have anything else for Act Three? I don't really have
Uh,
any more insight into this. I don't have I've come run out of ways to say this movie's bad.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I have questions, but
I don't
what
have
would be
any
the
answers.
point? Right.
What do you rate it, man?
Um, I was I'm gonna grade this movie on a curve because it is a 90s movie.
Yeah.
So I think the movie would have been better if it was written today with today's technology and what we know about police work and stuff. Because if it came out today, they would have solved it because it would have an email like, "Hey, this is the drawing from the guy in the hospital.
Oh, the
Let's
fax
arrest this
machine.
dude."
Yeah.
Yeah. So um I'm gonna give it 3 stars because it was in the 90s and things were a little bit different back then.
I will take your lead and grade it on a curve. I can appreciate what the twist meant to filmmaking.
Hmm.
I can put myself in the space of going to a movie theater in 1995, completely in the dark,
Right.
and watching that movie and being pulled one direction and snapping into a different direction and leaving there thinking that was the greatest thing I ever seen. So I am going to give it a perfect 2.5, which is about a C plus,
Yeah.
you know, a movie to be appreciated more than enjoyed. So
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And it's actually a good testament to like just artists growing because the guy who wrote the script, Christopher McQuarrie, he's done basically any Tom Cruise movie the last like 15 to 20 years, he wrote, directed, or produced on. So he's gotten much better as a filmmaker. So I did want to shout that out.
good for him. Yeah, that's about all I got. All right. Thanks for listening. My name is Darius. That's D's I Love Your Area on all socials.
And I'm Jordan. Jordan be writing on all socials.
Please rate, like, subscribe. We are at Out the Trunk Pod on all socials. Out the Trunk Pod on all socials.
And for any ongoing movie recommendations, reach out to us via email at outthetrunkpod@gmail.com. That's outthetrunkpod@gmail.com. That's a wrap. Thanks for coming to the movies with us. Tune in next week. We'll be reviewing Game Night.
All right, y'all.
Y'all take care.